I almost didn't get this one produced. Hello, everyone. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, and welcome to the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast number 216. This is the one about technical difference and conceptual similarity in Jeet Kune Do. As you're logging in, if you'd be kind enough to say where you're logging in from, hit the like button and feel free to continue doing so throughout the broadcast. If you're catching the simulcast over on the YouTube, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and hit the notification bell as well. If you enjoy my work and you'd like to support the program, please visit jkdrebel.com, click on the Rebel Gear link, and that's where you'll see stuff like this. The JKD Notables coffee mug, also available, I'm pretty sure, still in garment form, right? So you can check that out. But of course, the best thing you can do is to share this video and spread the word about the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast. So before I do anything else, muchas gracias, many thanks to everybody who speedily came to my aid yesterday with ideas and comments when I revealed that I had lost my preliminary notes for today's broadcast. So I received a wide variety of topics, on some of which I will probably end up using in future broadcasts. But for today, let's talk about the fact that when it comes to martial arts, everyone has pretty much the same desired end result, right? Some people want to get in shape. Some people want to learn a discipline. Some people want to learn to defend themselves, or any combination of those three, and maybe some other reasons that I didn't list. And of course, Jeet Kune Do can be a viable option for all of that and more. Now, so from a couple of the responses that I received, I especially liked Jay Cooper's suggestion of looking at the conceptual similarity, but the technical differences of the Ali, the Frazier, and the Foreman jabs in boxing. Another one that I was especially fond of in a phone call, my upcoming Jeet Kune Do Dialogues partner, Bo Jackson, he said something similar about the front kicks of karate, the front kick of taekwondo, and the front kick in Jeet Kune Do, how all are designed to do essentially the same thing, all pretty much hit on the same line, but their names and their technical execution are somewhat different. So of course, by the time I got through reading everyone's suggestions, I was feeling like a complete fool for not being able to remember what had engendered the topic and the title, which really led me to thinking a little bit about this inevitable and seemingly constant division that we all deal with here on Facebook about the getting right or the getting wrong in Jeet Kune Do, right? So for example, why are some people all too willing to accept that Bruce Lee incorporated some ideas from fencing's ways of attack into how he looked at Wing Chun's, the Wing Chun hands way of attack? So that's technical different, but conceptual similarity. So I'm not moving away completely from today's topic or title and getting into Jeet Kune Do's back and forth, right? So people are willing to accept that in fencing and Wing Chun, a blade art, a weapons art, and an empty hands art for the most part. In Filipino Kali, there's a similar approach in that the angles of attack can be translated from the blunt weapon to the edged weapon to the empty hands. Sometimes, if it's not a literal translation, and by that I mean the exact same motion, right? So translation and interpretation, anybody who's spent time training with me, or maybe even listening to me a little bit, will know that those are terms that I use just to keep the linguistic analogy going. So if it's not a literal translation, motion for motion between blunt, edged, and empty hands, it is an interpretation. Another way of saying it's an interpretation can be to say it is a modification, which we all know is something that Bruce Lee did repeatedly. Bruce Lee modified the Wing Chun fighting position to more of a boxing stance, but he modified even the boxing stance a little bit primarily by changing to a strong side forward position. He modified the Wing Chun dummy sets, the way you do sets on the dummy. He modified the hand and the body positions for doing the single-handed chi sao, the dan chi. He modified the northern style kung fu kicks and the taekwondo kicks and wherever else he got his kicking knowledge from. He modified all that. I was trying to find the exact quote in Sifu Dan's book, but I couldn't. But it is where he says that sometimes things were modified because of the way that Bruce Lee trained for them, right? So if he came across a technique, because of the way he trained for it, the technique ends up becoming modified. So undoubtedly, Bruce Lee was a modification monster, right? So that approach, modification in Jeet Kune Do, that extraction of essence and modification to fit in with Jeet Kune Do principles, that is something that continues to this day with the younger generation, right? Who immerse themselves in the study of the modern day approach to the old art of combat. So whether you want to admit it or accept it, so this is something that I'm paraphrasing Sifu Dan now. The art of combat has changed over the years, right? So take, for example, something that's going on in the news right now. If the United States gets into armed conflict with Russia over Ukraine, they will not be using the exact same methods that they used, right? And by that, I mean the US and Russia. They will not use the same methods that they used when they fought together in World War II against Germany, because tactics, strategies, equipment, technology, all of these things have changed. Now, take that from a grand global warfare and bring that down to the lesser scale of simple hand-to-hand combat in a street fighting situation. You're going to tell me that tactics and strategies, equipment and technology have not changed over the years? I know what people will say. Punching is punching and kicking is kicking and grappling is still grappling when it comes to human movement. Yes, that's true. But outside of that, there are certain things, I'll just mention one in particular, that has to be taken into consideration. The bad guys in today's society probably have as much, if not more, training than bad guys may have had in the past. You have to remember that there was, well, some of you are not old enough to know this, right? But there was a time when there could be a thing called secret Oriental fighting arts, because people who had come back from Asia as servicemen or what have you, they learned some stuff that was not prevalent in the West. And so you could say at one point that there was a secret knowledge as such, excuse me, but that's not what we have in the modern day. So things have changed. Bruce Lee said that Jeet Kune Do, to change with change, is the change of state. And so you gotta accept it, that if you better try to keep up, right, to a certain extent. Okay, all right. So if we maintain that Jeet Kune Do is about the constant sharpening of the tools, wouldn't it make sense to sharpen those tools, to test the sharpness of those tools against the grindstones of other martial art methods that are out there, by getting involved with those systems, if possible, to see how your Jeet Kune Do holds up? People who follow the Inasano methodology do that on a consistent basis. If you believe Jeet Kune Do to be about the truth in combat, it's one thing to train, to say that you're training honestly and train combat, like let's say the takedown. So you train the takedown against somebody who doesn't have a whole lot of takedown skill. Like they understand maybe the basics of it or whatever. But you're not really training against a high level person. Now you can encounter a high level takedown expert if you go train at a grappling school. So that's my only point. Yes, you could say that you train against grappling, but what's the level? You see, Bruce Lee didn't spend time what's the term? Punching downward, right? When Bruce Lee looked at grappling, he didn't look at grappling with people who didn't have an in-depth understanding of it. No, he trained with Sato Sensei in Seattle. He trained with Jean LaBelle. He trained with Nishioka Sensei in Los Angeles. He trained with high-level people. If you want to raise your level, it's easier to raise your level just by putting yourself at the hands and feet of people who are at a high level. And so that's something that goes on in, let's call it the world of Jeet Kune Do concepts, because people insist on using those terms, right? That's something that goes on in that world more so than in other places, to the best of my knowledge, right? Okay, so that's it. That's all I wanted to say for today. You guys feel free to let me know what you think in the comments below. That's all I got to say in this video. If you like what you heard, comment, rate, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods, on Instagram at Dwight D. Woods. I told you last week, we will soon be re-releasing the JKD Quick Skills Series Volume 1, as well as, I call it the first non-technical Jeet Kune Do manual, right? And so, and then also the Jeet Kune Do success strategies. So email me at jkdrebel, jkdrebel@gmail.com if you're interested in any of that stuff. Coming up on Friday the 25th, Jeet Kune Do dialogues with the aforementioned Bo Jackson of, I think I have this right, Tallahassee Integrated Martial Arts. So that should be 6 p.m. on Friday. So come back and see me then. Come back and see Bo. I think we're going to have a great conversation. He's, I said this to him before. He's actually the only guy who has, in all of the Facebook discussions that I have been involved in, he is the only guy who has ever mentioned something that I don't mention it. I kind of keep it to myself. He's the only person who has ever mentioned it. And so I'll let him tell you what it is on Friday. All right. Okay. So today's a yellow day. All right. There we go. Haven't worn this one in a while. All right. So I'll see you back here on Friday, 6 p.m. If not, see you next Wednesday for another issue of the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast. Until then, this is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, signing off. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care. Talk soon.